So, your friendly neighbourhood Spider-Man, a different universe Peter Parker, whose life is turned upside down when Norman Osborn pays him a visit and finds out his secret identity. Okay, so the first two episodes of this show have released recently, and I thought I'd talk about them. Right off the bat, to plead my case, I am a massive Steve Ditko fan, okay? I have a painting of his Spider-Man drawing, you know, the one that it says escape impossible. I have that on my wall. I'm a massive Steve Ditko fan, and this animation is obviously mimicking that massively. However, I'm gonna say the good bits of the animation and the bad. Okay, the human, when we see the humans, I don't like it. The noses are animated very weirdly. There's not a lot of detail. It looks a bit sloppy. But when we see Spider-Man, I actually quite enjoy it. I think it works well for Spidey, but I don't think it works well for anything else. Mainly because Spidey doesn't have facial features, and there's not, like, details of skin and that much clothing. So I don't like the animation, but I like it with Spidey. Even though I enjoyed watching the show and watching the first two episodes, it doesn't really give me still a reason to care about this Spider-Man. Make no mistake, this was originally supposed to be a Tom Holland prequel, but now that it's not, and it's just a random Peter, I'm still going to be watching it, of course, but I just don't feel the connection, and I still don't feel the point of this, because if you want an alternate Spider-Man, we have plenty of them. And with this Peter, who I've built no relationship with whatsoever, and I just get 25-minute episodes with him, I still don't have a reason to connect with him as of yet. And, it feels like they're kind of throwing it in your face, because there are some scenes where it's the complete same to the Tom Holland Spider-Man. You know, where he walks in Civil War, our first meeting of him. It literally plays out the same in the animated show. The only difference is that Norman Osborn is there instead of Tony Stark, which, yes, is cool, I enjoy, but I can kind of see where that story is going to go already. And I've seen it before. I feel like I've seen it before. I've played these games before. Also, Nico is like the Ned/MJ of the show. It's a very typical character type that I just don't feel connected to in any way. Pearl is a Liz Allen ripoff, so again, I feel like I've seen that before, although I do think it's quite cute that Peter has a crush on her and she was his babysitter. I like that the science people who Peter should get on really well with, he actually doesn't get on with, because they're all trying to compete with each other, and they're all, like, trying to one-up each other. I like that, and I like that the jocks are actually quite nice to him, because in modern day, I think 2025, jocks are quite like, hey man, oh yeah, like they give you some attention, but they don't give you all the attention, if that makes sense. So I think that's a better modern representation of today's world. I loved, Lonnie Lincoln. I was like, what? Tombstone. Obviously, I really liked his perspective on life versus Peter's perspective, and I think it's going to be a really slow burn for him as Tombstone, which I can't wait to see. I'm so excited for that. That's probably what's keeping me invested. Honestly, I am making it sound like I hate the show, and honestly, I don't. It surprised me much more. However, it still has the problems that I worried about for it. But I do appreciate that, although we have people like Doctor Strange in this universe and Iron Man. By the way, the Doctor Strange scene was epic. But I appreciate that even though we have those heroes, Spider-Man still feels self-contained, not like Iron Boy Jr., not like Strange Boy Jr., and that's actually something I really appreciate this show for doing. And the action scenes in this show are actually pretty sick, and they remind me quite a lot of Spectacular Spider-Man, which is an awesome thing. And the swinging scenes, even though the budget and I don't like the animation, the versatility and the freedom of the swings with the camera angles looks awesome. If this thing had a big budget lift, I could see these swinging scenes being the most amazing swinging scenes in all of the animated Spider-Man media. And that's only on the first two episodes, by the way. However, it still has the gazing problems that I thought it was going to have. Where could it go? Okay, here we go. Here we theorise. Where could this go? So I think Norman Osborn will start off being kind of a mentor to Peter, but I think Norman Osborn's obsession with superheroes is that he never became one himself. I think maybe he'll feel cheated. He feels cheated out of powers or something like that, so he decides to help heroes instead, because he wants them to give him a bigger piece of the pie. So I think when he sees Spider-Man and he sees that Spider-Man can be easily manipulated, he sets out these villains like Doc Ock and Shocker and things like that to try and get their hands on Spider-Man's blood. When this doesn't go according to plan, Norman himself tries to take Spider-Man's blood, succeeds, thinking it will give him powers, but really it turns him into the Green Goblin, set up for season 2. I think when Spider-Man says, you know what, Norman, I don't really trust you. I'm going to leave your company. I'm going to leave Oscorp. I think then Norman is going to offer Lonnie Lincoln a job and he's going to turn him into Tombstone. And then Tombstone will fight Spider-Man in the final episode. And Pearl, in dismay that her boyfriend has become this villain, Peter comforts her. In that comfort, she finds love for him. And then season 2, it's Peter and Pearl. I mean, we know we're already getting season 2 and 3 of this show. So, I mean, that's where I think the show's going. And then, obviously, when Peter's with Norman or working for Oscorp, he has the Future Foundation suit on. But I think when he breaks away from that, he will have the, obviously, comic book accurate red and blue. But, guys, that's where I think the show could go. What do you think? I mean, I'm still very pleasantly surprised by this show. Make no mistake about it. It hasn't wiped away my initial worries. However, I thought I would just skip it and just wouldn't watch it. It's got me invested. Has it got you guys invested? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.